created. It's the experience that something's wrong here, where I am, where life is. That's the foundation of the fundamental genesis of identity. In fact, what was actually happening was irrelevant. In that moment, you said there was someone you could never be. In that moment, you decided you had to be tough. You had to be, what's some winning formula? The first winning formulas you have? Shy. What's that?
People pleasing.
People pleasing, okay. Controlling. Perfectionist, yeah. I'm just laughing because we had a conversation. I'm not laughing at you. What else? What are some others?
Nice.
Being nice.
Compliant.
Compliant.
Problem solver.
In charge.
In control of my emotions.
In control of your emotions, yeah. You decided you had to be all of those in the future so that this kind of thing wouldn't happen again. In that moment, you had a conversation with yourself, and you put together your first winning formula. And then you were X, and then you were smart, then you were people-pleasing, and then you were controlling because you said so. Do you see that? Yeah. Then at some point as an adolescent, you go on and there's another experience, right? Something happened and you experienced that you didn't belong. Now I don't belong anymore. And again, you weren't enough. There was someone who had some quality you could never be. And then you said from that point on, you also need to be Y. Y, the letter Y. To compensate again for what and who you could never be. So mine was likable. I didn't belong at home, so I wanted to belong at school and be liked. I had to be popular, because I was miserable at home, so I was going to be liked at school. I was on all the sports teams. Everybody liked me. I used to brag about it too. What are some second winning formulas you had when you're in adolescence? What are some winning formulas? Yeah, Z?
I chose to become out of the ordinary, so I became a complete hippie.
Okay. So
I could totally did not want to be like that and with the norm.
okay, so let's just kind of, a way of being isn't hippie. So what way of being would that be?
Out of norm. I
Okay.
didn't want to fit in the standards of my friends.
Okay.
I wanted to be different.
Different.
I wanted to be perceived as not a different person, a bohemian. Look at that.
A bohemian. Yeah. Is that eccentric, you guys?
Eccentric. Yes.
Eccentric? Okay. Okay, eccentric. Who else?
Funny.
Funny. Who's the funny people here? There's only 10? Gotta go. Only 10 people funny, huh? What else?
Smart.
Smart. Who's the smarties? You guys should all be raising your hand. You're all smart.
Going to figure it out alone.
Gonna figure it out alone. Okay, how many of you figure things out alone, by yourself? You don't communicate, you're just gonna do it yourself. Yeah. And you're actually productive that way. That's how I am. Give me a team, I'm like, no, I'll do it. Yeah. So you're now eccentric, you're now smart. What's that? Funny, figured out on your own, on top of the first one that you said, which was what? Controlling. Help me out, guys. What are the first ones we said? People pleasing. Compliant.
Nice.
Yeah, nice. Now we've got the 2 winning formulas. Right? Now that worked until you became a young adult. And then again something happened. Once again, there was there's who you can never be. And now you said you're on your own. Now, X and Y, right? Being funny or being controlling is not enough. So you decided that you would also have to be Z from now on. And that was it. You're living your word, living as who you said you would be. So, what's the third winning formula that you guys created in adulthood?
Shrewd.
Shrewd.
Yes.
What's that, rude?
Being
Being shrewd. That works for you. It wins for you. Okay? What else? Guarded. So, Christine, you became guarded. You created that. Got it.
Independent.
Independent. How many of you independent? Independent. Hermit crab? Okay, hermit crab's not a way of being, so if we were to transform that hermit crab, reserve. Yeah, how about observatory, like quiet? No? Withdrawn? Hermit crab, you guys, let's define this. Never heard me say that, so it's great. What's that? Reserve, okay. And it works for you. Be reserved. Yeah, what are some others? Mine's analytical, figured out. Victim. So what's a way of being that victims have? Helpless. What would be something? See, a victim isn't a way of being. So what would be a way of being that victims have? Helpless. For you, Anna.
Crying.
Crying? That could be a victim, yeah. What's that?
Fearful.
Any of those? Helpless? Okay, sad, crying. Got it. Okay. Yeah, powerless right there. And that works for you. Yeah, it has you win. And you have to be that way. Yeah.
But now I can see that.
Yeah, no, it's great because we're graduates, so we see that now. But listen, what you guys want to get,
With family, with
Yeah.
friends, that's what we
yeah, your winning formula is you got to get that you have to be this way to win. That's what we call winning formula. Otherwise, you'd what? These aren't losing formulas. All right, so now you set up 3 winning formulas, they lock into place from that moment forward. So how many of you have seen the incident where you decided your first winning formula? How many of you saw your first winning formula? Okay. Now, how many of you saw the second winning formula? Come on, first one. Got it. Okay. How many of you saw the third winning formula? Right, so about half. Right. So how many of you didn't see your incidences? Didn't see your incidences and your winning formulas? Ronnie, you didn't see your incidents? I know we worked on a couple of winning formulas. Is Alexandria? Okay. Yeah, you only have 2. You're what, 14, 15 now? 15, yeah. So you would have 2. Okay, got it. Anybody else? You didn't see it? Edna, got it. Okay. Okay, so there's nothing wrong here, right? I just want to acknowledge that. So I'd like to have a couple people come up and share. I want you to share what you've seen about your own winning formulas in your life. What have you seen about your winning formulas in your life in the past 3 weeks? So you brought it to your attention. What have you seen? What is your winning formula? You know, how did you alter your way of being, or did you, right? And then, what have you seen how you were on autopilot? Same thing, right? So, what have you seen about your own winning formulas in your life and how you are on autopilot? So who wants to come up and share? Let's have a couple people come up. Yeah, Chris? Yeah, come on up. And then Gisela, and then Paola. Yeah, and well, yeah. What we're gonna do, we're gonna have a lot of sharing, so you may be standing a while. So come on up on this side, Danny. So you guys, when you share, I want you to forward the conversations for the people listening, okay? And as you're listening, I want you to listen from, you know, how yourself, you know, what have you seen about your winning formulas? And how you acted on autopilot, okay? I want this conversation to make a difference for everybody. So go ahead, Chris.
How's it going, everybody? So, my first time, as far as my winning formula, I think I was about 7 or 8. My brother was a minister. I used to go to church with him. And we used to play with the other kids in the church. And one day we were playing on a step about that high with a kid, and he accidentally bumped into me. And I knocked him off the step. And the kid got hurt. But my brother approached me like I did it on purpose, and it was a friend of his daughter or son. And he screamed at me so hard, like, I don't ever want to hang out with you. This is why I don't want to hang out with you. Go home. Break. Now my older brother doesn't want to hang with me anymore. So now I gotta, what do I do now? I'm like, my older brother's gone. You know, like, and he don't want to take me to church no more. You know?
And how old are you?
Like 7 or 8.
Okay.
Okay, so then the second time was when my dad died when I was 15.
So what was the way of being that you created? What was the way of
The way of being was like broken, like I'm alone. Even though I had 5 other brothers and sisters, I still felt alone because my brother screamed at me because he was my favorite. You know, like abandoned me.
Yeah, so in your first winning formula, you experienced something's wrong. You're 7.
Yeah,
That's what happened.
that's what happened.
And then you created a winning formula. You compensated for who you couldn't be in that moment.
So I just played by myself.
Okay, and so what winning formula would you call that? What way of being?
The way of being compensated just by being alone. Like, I don't know how to put a description on being by yourself, just solitude and not play anyway.
And is that something that,
And maybe independence, because there's probably still pieces of it right now. I live alone, you know, and I have family in Philly, but I do a lot of things alone.
okay,
So it's still, the thread is,
yep,
you know, there.
yep,
The second break was when my father passed when I was 15.
okay.
So then it's just like, okay, I'm not out of high school, but I'm making man decisions. What do I do with my life? You know, do I go in the Army or service? So I ended up getting into aviation, but I ended up being able to get into something that dealt with airplanes without going into the armed forces. So I figured it out. And I didn't think I was academically ready for college. So I got into aviation.
So the second winning formula was what?
I gotta figure this out. There's no one to help me figure this out. My dad's not here. It's like, again, my mom was doing her thing, you know, working with my mom, but
So no matter what, Chris, you're gonna figure it out.
yeah, so no matter what.
You figured everything out.
Big time. So, and I guess the last time that I've had that level of figuring out was when I got a DUI, and it broke me. But I had to figure it out because I had a lot of help already. And, you know, I had a real big breakthrough over the weekend. So even in figuring it out, I knew that I had these winning formulas, but I couldn't be my winning formula and get the help that I needed. So I had to like not be that. My group has been awesome, supporting me and listening to me. I take my cues from you, Linda, because I mimic you, and then I can see the lesson. Especially when I'm talking to you guys. You know, Shaju's not here. Is Sasha here? So, and so when I'm being vulnerable like that, I was really not trying to be the winning formula. Like, I can't do this alone. Even in sharing here. And when I stopped doing that, then the help came. But I had to open up my mouth. It came in the form of 3 people. Belinda, who was trying to help me on phone calls. Gaddy, she here?
No, she's not here tonight.
Not here, right?
Yep.
Okay, so she had a lead for me on a phone for a job. It didn't work out. I've been out of work for like 2-3 months, guys. But I've been pounding it. Had a couple callbacks, but nothing came through to finish. 2 weeks ago, I had a second interview at a company, and when I walked into the room, I had a panel of 3 people, 3 guys that are in aviation that build jet engines, big jet engines, big as this room. And
Do they have jet engines as big as this room?
big as this room, big as this room. Like,
That's cool.
from this stage is the front, and where he's sitting is the back.
Wow.
So Second interview, I'm like, okay, I think I got it. But nobody said, okay, I didn't get a start date. I couldn't even come to the dinner and share that I had a second interview on Friday because it was like, there was no aha. You know what I'm saying? So a couple of weeks go on, but you guys kind of know what's going on with me. Nancy shared with me, I was sitting next to her 2 weeks ago. She knew what was going on. She turned me over to a friend of hers. I'm
So
down
does
to my...
everybody in the seminar know what's going on? Do you guys get what he's saying? So Chris, nobody knows what's going on.
So I've been out of work for a while, and I've been holding out on you guys. That's what's going on. And my shame or embarrassment of being out of work has withheld me for a long time. So in giving that up, some people knew that I needed work because things are getting really tight down to the last wire. Nancy had a friend, and it didn't come through right away, but her friend, who's an awesome guy, please tell him I'm acknowledging her, acknowledging Belinda, but he came through like Wednesday, and he's a painter. So we went to work together, and this guy is amazing. We talked, and I painted for 3 days in the heat, from Wednesday to Friday. Excuse me for cussing, but bust my ass. And I told him, I said, I don't know, something's happening. And late Friday, I was told to look out for a call, but nothing had happened. And lo and behold, before the weekend was over, I got the call to start today at the new job. And today was my first day at this company, and not just as a mechanic, but as an inspector. So, when it came to my winning formula, and I was just like, I gotta, I don't know, I want things to last as long as they can last and keep going. But riding this wave has been one of the roughest things I've gone through in like a few years. Like, I'm looking at losing my apartment, the car, no money, everything's like flat on my face. But even in that, I wanted to stand for people when I couldn't stand for myself. And in turn, someone stood for me. So I appreciate you and thank God for people standing for me. And it's really hard not to pay attention to your winning formula because it wants to run you, like constantly. So sitting at the table in front of these three guys, I couldn't be my winning formula. And I had to tell them, I had to put it all on the table with them.
So you created, what was the way of being that you created?
I just had to be straight. Like I was like straight, and you're gonna give me the job or not? And well, we got some more candidates to look at. That's what I walked out of there with. 2 times I spent all the money I had to go out to Tamarack in an Uber that didn't produce anything, And I'm sitting there in my suit and I'm looking good. No see you on Monday, no, none of that. It was just like, they're figuring out, and I'm waiting, and it just was, I'm just like.
But you also said that you spoke straight.
I did.
It was a way of being that was created.
I did, and I was grinding really hard. So not on top of that, I can't drive my car. On Friday, I left out to go paint with this guy, and I forgot my wallet or my phone or something, and I ran back to the apartment, and I threw my bike in a bush, and guess what happened? I wasn't in my apartment 5 minutes, and I came back and my bike was gone. Oh, talk about breakdown. I broke down, I screamed, I was like, I had a shit fit. And it was like, that was it. I was like, God, I'm done, I don't even have a bike now. I flipped out. I said, Tony, come pick me up. I told him what happened. I felt like such a loser. And he picked me up and we went the whole day. We talked about it. I made a police report. I got a call from the complex that the maintenance guy picked it up and moved it on me. But the emotion. What I went through in that moment, it was like everything just went like. My head popped. I looked to the left, I looked to the right, no bike, and everyone's with their dogs, they're all cute. You see my bike? bike, dude. I'm like, I was done, but I got my bike back. I got some work for a week. I got a new job. I doubled my money from like in 6 days. And this is where I am. So.
Can you guys see this? This is what I was pointing out earlier tonight. The intention of the series, Chris, you want to read that?
The intention of the series, to leave you able to deal powerfully with each and every aspect of your life.
Nope, right there, yeah. Can you see how that you fulfill that intention?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I didn't know where I was going to be about sharing tonight, but in the moment, like right now, like I've been at a great sharing point and let it pass. And I didn't want to rob myself or you guys of what's happening. So I hope and pray that it washes over you like it did for me. And I'll be on my way again at 5:30 in the morning to work on those really big engines.
So what have you seen about your own winning formulas and operating on autopilot?
Oh, goodness. Being controlling of everything and everybody around me. My question to you is the first event that I can remember that I now identify as being defining of my life was around 14. I was living in California. I'm originally from Brazil, and my parents took me back to Brazil because of school. And I was put in a boarding school for almost 2.5 years. My parents went back to LA. My brother was in a boarding school about 2 hours away from me, and I was on my own. And the deciding moment for me to be controlling was when I saw them leaving the boarding school, and I knew I was being left there. And the thought that crossed my mind was not how horrible my parents were, because I knew what they were doing had to be done. The thought was, now that they're not here, they're going back to LA, and I'm in Brazil by myself. I am it. Tag, you're it. And at that moment, I realized that whatever was going to happen in my life from that moment on, I had to be in control of it. And at that young age, I was with strangers in a place. I'm Lutheran. I was in a Catholic nunnery school, which was completely foreign to me. I was not even allowed to go in the chapel to pray because I was not Catholic. So at that moment, I realized that from then on, I became controlling.
Yeah, great. And how does being controlling, how does that show up in your life? You guys want to get this too? You want to look at how it shows up in your life. This is like,
It's my nightmare. Even though it's been good because it made me independent, it made me be able to, at 24, move to the US by myself and start a new life here, having nobody around me, starting from scratch in a place where I knew nobody, to being very controlling to those around me, including my son and my ex-husband and the people I work with. And I see now that that is where that came from. And now I'm trying to, whenever that instinct comes into play that, okay, I need to control this, I'm like, I take a step back and no, I don't. And a perfect example was the day we went to dinner together.
Who's in your group?
My group with the advanced course, where we decided to go to dinner. And a couple of the suggestions I would not have cared for. And one looked at me and he says, he knew what my issue was to be controlling, and he says, let it go. Let's go have, what was it, Colombian food?
Yeah.
Let's go have Colombian food. And not only I thought, he's a great leader, by the way, not only he was able to tell me that and not offend me, I did take a step back. We went to have Colombian food, and it was actually delicious. And when I went home that day, I thought to myself, hey, I can't let go sometimes. I don't have to be in control all the time. And I've been practicing that on my day-to-day to when I get to that thing that I really have to take control of this, I take a step back and things work themselves out. And the next time in my life where I felt that I needed my second moment.
Well, we gotta speed up just a little, okay?
Yeah, my second moment was
No,
when
so I mean, like,
was-
okay, so let's stop real quick. And so what's the way of being that you created now? So you have your winning formula of being
My winning
controlling. And
formula
you guys
was
want to get that
controlling.
it's not bad. A winning formula is not bad.
No.
It's not wrong. I want to make sure I put that in.
And I never considered it to be bad. It
Yeah.
did hinge a lot of, issues in relationships, but being that is my winning formula, what I'm doing now is just taking a step back when I feel that urge to control come in the picture.
Beautiful. Oh my gosh. Thank you.
And it's amazing. It's truly amazing.
A new person, right? Okay, so I want to keep the sharing concise. I don't think I was specific enough. So we're not going to go through the incidences of your winning formulas. You just want to say what they are and how they constrain you, and then what you see in your life, and then what new ways of being enacted you can create from there, or what you've created. Sorry.
Howdy. So mine started with Max. I know that people leave and groups get. I have one of the most determined leaders of our groups. So thank you, Max. We're on a telephone call, and once again, I'm like, what am I doing here? But this is what I'm doing, so I'm here. So Max is saying, what's your winning formula? And I said to him, I don't identify with what's going on. I'm glad to be there. I'm learning. And so he says to me, so I realized when I was a kid, something embarrassing happened with a habit that started by my mom. And then I was like, I was doing it all my life. And then I realized, oh, it started then. Well, I choose not to do it anymore. And boom, it was pretty much gone, but it planted an idea in my mind. So I wrote this down. It's only a minute. Actually, it's a minute and 25 seconds. But, so here's what it is. It's all about identity, my winning formula. And I have struggled with the landmark basic concept of enrolling other people until now. I wish this would be able to see here. Today, I enroll all of you here in my new intuitive ability. I decide to attract what I desire for health, personal, and business goals. Immediately upon attracting what I desire, I can feel my insecure, painful urges for unhealthy habits dominated and gone. It was like my DNA from birth. Actually, my habitual mind attracting unhealthy habits is overruled by my subconscious rare and conscious frontal mind. I decide. For example, I ate unhealthy food to absorb emotionally overwhelming pain. Next came an extreme natural challenge. I left unhealthy food all around the house surrounding me, and there was no temptation. Attracting what I desire, I found it is real for me. On another topic, and I don't know if I should bring this up, but I will because I wrote it down and it sounds good. I've noticed several of us in here are missing. It shows me it is so easy to pay for something. We are here as individuals committed to doing the simple landmark course by showing up to get it done. When people quit on themselves, it puts out an energy. How can others trust them? So I continue forward rapid progress with my intuitive vision, and I will get it done. My journey has awesome, incredible excitement for the rest of my life. I decide. So I have now officially enrolled all of you. Thank you.
So Denny, hold on. So you didn't answer the question.
Uh-oh.
I did like what you said about people not being here, though.
I what?
When you say I decide,
Yes.
that's a winning formula. So what is that?
What is,
When you say I decide,
okay?
that's a winning formula for you. It works.
I had thought of it as I attract what I desire because I know what I want, and it allows me to take I have the best excuses in the world and it just takes everything, and it allows me to begin being myself so that I can achieve what it is I'm going to achieve, and I am achieving.
Okay. So,
I've got 2, I think.
so what's the winning formula that I asked you to share about?
Well, you said to me, okay, all right, help me out here. You just, I may have interrupted you. You said I decide is a good one, but I like the one that says what I,
So what is the winning formula?
okay, now I feel like a 3rd grader on the spot. This was a breakthrough and I wanted to share it. But if you can teach me what I'm not perceiving right now to be my winning formula, I welcome it. I'm just not looking for it.
So what am I interacting with right now? This is your winning formula right here. Every time you get up to speak, and there's nothing wrong, guys, okay? I don't want to be like I'm lashing out at him. But this is what I interact with you. Every time I talk to you,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what this kind of way of being is. So let's look, you guys. Do you guys want to look? Are you, look, first I want to make sure that this is not to pick on you.
No,
Yeah,
go ahead.
Okay, and
Bring
you're
it
very coachable, and it's awesome. So
Bring it
can you
on.
guys help me out? What do you see that with love? Okay. Okay. What else? Controlling, right? Decisive. What else? Pretending nothing's wrong. Manipulative.
Controlling the narrative
Controlling.
of what you're looking at.
Okay. Who else?
Because I felt like that I didn't answer what was happening. But I felt like manipulated the topic, but indirect, because
I really saw something like huge, and maybe it was an offbeat thing, but I noticed you were shaking
Mm-hmm.
like incredibly.
Yeah.
So for me, you're afraid of something, and you're coming out. But even saying what you said was like something new for you speaking, so you were afraid of something. And it had you shaking.
Well, that's going to take us off in a rabbit hole, Chris, but I appreciate that.
Okay.
You may have seen that, but I think what I'm seeing as well is there's an evasive nature that you have, and then you take control of something. So when did you start doing that?
When I was about 3 years old, I had to conquer something that I was told is not conquerable, something that was impossible, and I decided to give it everything I had on my best and never stop until I got it done.
Yeah. So you were 3?
About 3, 4 years old when I first started thinking. It was the first thought in my mind. And I said, no, I have my, well, that's where I started. Anyway, yeah, so that's what I started. So I do apologize if
Hold on.
you're right that this
No,
may not have been.
no. This is how it starts again. You start to open up, and there's something there. So what? Just tell us.